Namaskar. Friends and listeners, I am glad to share that my poem titled Summer Death has been selected in the open category of AIFEST Poetry Contest 2020 and has been rated A grade. The organizers have asked me to video record the reading of this poem and post it on its website. Hence this humble attempt. But before I rendered my reading of this poem, let me give you my views on what poetry is and how I began my poetic career. When we are faced with the question what poetry is, we are simply flabbergasted. We do not know what exactly it is because it is very difficult to define. It is profound, deep, unfathomable, elusive, and indefinite or uncertain. Once Samuel Johnson, a man of great letters of the 18th century England, was asked to define what poetry is. He replied, I quote, "When you ask me, I do not know. When you do not ask me, I know what it is," unquote. From this we understand how difficult it is to define what poetry is. However, many poets in the past have defined what it is, but their conceptions are limited. No, none of their conceptions is totally comprehensive. Yet, each one of them has attempted to focus on one particular element in poetry. For me, poetry is a feeling, basically an experience. Poets, being artists, are totally different from ordinary men and women. We all act and react. We are endowed with a tremendous amount of emotions. We react quickly to any situation. But poets, being artists, do not react, but they respond. They respond because they are deeply sensitive. They are endowed with a tremendous amount of feelings. Therefore, they respond. So it is their response to a situation that undergoes a drastic transformation in the psyche, and a composition is created, and thus a poem comes into effect. For me, poetry is a feeling. Feeling needs to be distinguished from emotionality. Emotions are localized disturbances of the body-mind complex. They are not deep and profound, unlike feelings which touch the very core of our sense of experience in our body-mind complex. Emotions are not permanent. They keep changing, whereas feelings are transcendent and permanent. And for me, writing poetry is a sort of transcendental experience. Poetry is the highest form of human expression because it explores and expresses the truth of existence and life. It is for this reason poets and scientists are sworn enemies. Many philosophers dismiss poets because poets live in imagination. It is partly correct. Both poets and scientists think and imagine. I began writing poetry in the early 1980s. I never wanted to become a poet in my life. But when I took pen and scribbled a few lines that went like poetry, they sounded like poetry, as my friends have commented in those days. And then it went. Then I started looking for a publisher after years of pursuit. I finally landed with a writer's workshop in Kolkata. It was then headed by Professor P. Lal. Professor P. Lal asked me to send the manuscript. I sent the manuscript and he was so pleased, immediately wrote back to me giving his consent to take up its print. And thus my first book, Desert Blooms, was published in 1987. Thereafter, The Echoes Silent in 1988, The Images of Growing Dying City in 1989, and after 10 years of gap, I brought out another collection, Small Reflections. These first 4 books were published by the Writers' Workshop. Well, in my poetic career, lasting almost 4 decades, I have so far written and published 12 books. Of these 12 books, 7 books are single long narrative experiences. They do not contain individual poems. In fact, to tell you the truth, when I began writing poetry in 1980s, I never wrote individual poems, but I just wrote, and the lines simply spilled over. Thus, my first book, Desert Blooms, contained 1,600 lines, and the second book, Echoes Silent, a little more than 900 lines. And the third book, The Images of a Growing Dying City, comprises 85 reflections of a city. Only 4 books contain individual poems. So this is my poetic career in brief. With this brief introduction, let me go to the poem and let me present my reading of this poem, Summer Death. Well, this poem was conceived in May this year. Well, the whole world was gripped with COVID, and I encountered a couple undergoing this death experience, and it deeply touched me, and I translated it into a poem, and the poem came out with this title, Summer Death, because I encountered this experience in May, hence the title Summer Death. Let me read the poem. In the worst season of the worst year of the century, men and women perished first in single digit, then in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, like fowls in a cold wave. Here a man, not very old, was walking in the half-dead city, with a woman on his left shoulder, like the king Vikramaditya carrying the betal. She was half-sickened with her fever, while he was half-sickened with her fever. Both could not keep up. He walked like the wind that moved from avenue to avenue, from street to street, from lane to lane, south of the city, north, then south, then southwest, then northwest. Worst was its condition with his half-sickened half. Worst was her condition with her half-sickened half. In the day, they took nothing. He sacrificed more for his half than for himself, until nightfall drenched with sweat under the falling stars, finally fell with a third like a felled tree, of the sinking smell of sweat, of hunger, of unfair medical treatment, of indifference, No one cared to touch nor smell in fear of the dreadful invisible virus. In her twisted legs were held his body. In his rounded arms were held her body, his forehead kissing the ground. The last hug of her body was her last gift to him. The last heat of his body was his last adieu to her. Let no one write a poem of their love. Let no one sing a dirge of their summer death. Let no one come to their threshold and inscribe on their tombs. Their death together was an utter shame to humanity. The toxins of history were let loose like balloons on their bodies. Thank you very much for listening, and I thank the organizers for selecting this poem and giving the grade, A grade to it. Thank you. Namaskar.
Hi everyone, this is Dimple Nahata over here. I go by the name Dimple Nahata Jain as well because I like to keep Jainism alive in myself. So I'm going to recite my poem Shades of Love. Basically the poem's name is Growing in Love, but since it's the topic of Shades of Love, I'll go around with this. So I'll read the poem for you all. So the poem is Growing in Love. I experienced a lifetime in a couple of years. The moment I hit puberty lane, I found everything strange and insane, in brain, body and brain. I liked everything toxic and ran away from benign and innoxious. Tried to help the mean and became mean to humble. Humility didn't exist. Embarrassment didn't affect. Dated the one who hit me more than twice and played the one who cares me uncountable times. Cherished the one who left me and forgot the one who held me, wondering what was it that I was running behind. I hit maturity when I declined the best cover and held the book with simple layout and name. They looked at me as if I was not sane for someone who runs behind what's on trend. I read the book, felt utter disgust, not at the book but at the choices I made over and over again. The next day, I booked a stay to pamper my inner self, to grow love for myself. That much needed vacay took me to trips of what love looked like and what people showed all this time. I saw a mother milking baby. I saw an old couple swinging. I saw teachers being nice. I saw friends standing by side. I saw couple fighting and patching up. I saw siblings cover for each other. I saw humanity and learned self-love is part of Shades of Love. Thank you everyone.
Hi, I'm Dr. Barbara S. Sangma. I teach English literature in Don Bosco Undergraduate College in Tura town in the state of Meghalaya. Meghalaya is in the northeastern region of India, bordering Bangladesh. I'm very proud to say I belong to a matrilineal tribe. My interest in poetry began when I was a child, listening to the recitation of my elder sister who used to recite to me poetry written in our local language. Then I went in for English honors, and I can say I love all the poets and their works. But the most abiding influence in my poetic passion has always been T.S. Eliot, who I admire very greatly. I would also like to inform that the topic or the title of my poem is A Crown. Anyone? Here I am addressing all. If anybody would like to have the crown. Generally, people vie with each other to possess the crown, to get the crown. But then Corona, COVID-19 is also, Corona means crown. But here, nobody would like to have the crown. And in the process of the pandemic that has been going on since the month of March in India, and till today a lot of things have happened. So many changes, so many sufferings, and so many new things we had to deal with. We have come with a very basic nature face to face. My poem may sound discordant. One stanza may appear not to be flowing into the other in a harmonious way, but that is, I think, what it is. Today's pandemic does not in any way bring about harmony. There are sounds of cacophony, so many sounds, unpleasant, ugly, appeal, and sometimes beautiful and pleasant sounds also, wanting to be heard. This is what I have tried to bring in my poem. I hope you will like it. A crown, anyone? A time different from other times, when people who once hankered to be coronated loathed the corona. A terrible beauty is born, murmured someone. Ah, is that you, Mr. Yeats? Great to have you here, sir, in the webinar. There's something in the chat box. Hold on, let me read. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Noted. Thank you, Mr. Yeats. Corona disrupted the Aceh din, wreaked havoc like a beauty who's just joined degree first semester. Hearts broke into smithereens. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Push away the crown, the corona, more than 3 times unlike Julius Caesar. I close my eyes, or my mind's eyes. No, they are my eyes, real ones. I close them and travel back to mid-March 2020. Panic, that was the first experience. Then word spread, work from home, as though we had never done that. Now homework is doubled. Physical strength and mental stamina held conference. First I cleared the cobwebs which I'd overlooked. The crown might be hidden among the gossamer threads. Then sprinkled every nook and corner with holy water. And creepies crept away, and crawlies too crawled away, or so I thought. Lockdown first week, sigh of relief. We slashed and we dug, and scurried for seeds we had not preserved. Yet nature smiled. Fallen, forgotten seeds sprang to life. We only tended to them to tide over bad times. And then we learned and we baked. We cooked and we ate. We got things home delivered. Oh, so like in the cities. Tra-la-la. And we prayed on our knees. Lockdown second week. Reality began to sink in. Notice after notice after notice, from workplace and government. And rumor met information halfway. Yes, news got adulterated like the rest of Indian products. The term online on every tongue. Kids' online assignments. Teachers' online classes. Onset of rainy season. And courses and webinars sprung from everywhere, faster than the wild grass in summer, fed by monsoon rain. And during more somber moments, we did glance at the green patch and thank God for things we had never thanked him for. Soon, CAA is forgotten, and Corona reigned supreme, and people began to talk about the return of the native, about racism and stigmatization. Everyone learned the word quarantine, depression, and even nepotism. One cool, steely touch, and the countrymen ran helter-skelter and regressed to savagery. The fear of death made people run. Some ran in, while some ran out. The same wind that brought the NRIs back in planes that looked down from luxurious heights added insult to injury in the coastlands. And the real ministers of the land lived again through the great exodus. There was no Red Sea to part, only a great distance to be covered. Among the walkers, there were the masons who could not build even a shed for themselves. There were cooks. There were those who drove Ubers and Olas, cab drivers and rickshaw pullers. The country's backbone snapped as the insidious machine smashed them, and many a zombie resurrected with iron rods for the spines. And people returned like homing birds to heroes' welcome, to clanging of plates, to lighting of lamps, to rumbling of stomachs amidst pattering of feet, cacophony, truly refugees in their homeland. And the promised Aceh Din is gone with the wind. And the people of a great country went on washing their hands in between the newly famed Namaste, but forgot to wash their conscience. And then blood flowed from the bibcocks and stench of rotten flesh from the kitchens, a harsh reminder to be kind and humane. And who will pay for the many deaths of those driven away from the cities? Who shall atone for those scarred for life by insult and abuse? Who shall soothe the scalded souls and blistered hands? And most of all, where shall be found the healer to heal the too many broken hearts? Pontius Pilate washed his hands once, historical, but in 2020, men wash their hands over and over. And tell you what, I have not consumed so much alcohol in all my life. 2020 ironies. And thousands got busy making ring-a-ring-a roses.
Indira Nityanandam from Ahmedabad. A doctorate in English. I've been teaching for 45 years. And well, poetry is one of my favorite subjects. With the pandemic that was set into motion in my city of Ahmedabad since March, gosh, what an experience it's been. So I thought I should put my ideas into words on paper. And since I've been reading poetry for a long time, and I love the poem called The Owl and the Pussycat, I just took that as my model and wrote the poem, which I shall be reading out now. The poem is called The Ebola and the Corona. The Ebola and the Corona went on a ride on a beautiful pangolin. They took some flesh and some hide, wrapped in a bat's wing. The Ebola looked at his find and whispered in pride, "Oh lovely Corona, oh my bitter self, what a strong virus you are. Me, the appetizer, you, the main course, what a lovely bear we are." And Corona, swelling in self-pride, said, "How charming was your bite. And now mine is even better. Let us unite in friendship, with you fatal and my contagion, to all lands across the earth. To man we will proclaim, he may of himself think on the pinnacle of creation, his life, his pride, at our mercy forever." And so, Ebola and Corona rode on undeterred. But the vaccine reached, put an end to their dreary mourn. Cough ended, sore throats cured, shortness of breath too, and so was another battle won. But beware, Homo sapiens, tread with care. The earth is yours to treasure, but not to destroy for pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Glory Elsa Tom, doing graduation in English Language and Literature at St. Dominic's College, Kanjirapally. I'm from Mundakayam, Kerala. Symphony of Love. The sparkling blue blankets gently creased my toes. A light zephyr kissed my skin. My lips turned upward, feeling the nourishing love of nature. How to define love? My mind paused for a while, but never came an answer except some cherished memories. Once, sitting in a park, my eyes sparkled with joy, gazing at an old couple laughing together, cherishing the memories. Then my heart uttered, "Love is eternal." Sitting in the balcony, adorning the beauty of eventide, my eyes drifted down. The little one giggling in her mother's lap, getting squeezed in her love, my heart uttered, "Love is tender." Walking through the busy street, my legs seized at that sight. A young boy offering his hand to the blind man, my heart remarked, "Love is care." Waiting at the traffic, I saw a stirring scene. The waiter at the shop running behind the stranger to return his left-out wallet. My heart rejoiced. Love is kind. Tapping on the handrest, my heart pumped loudly, the fear of first flight. But a soft touch calmed me, and my lips flashed a smile, the smile of gratitude. My heart whispered, "Love is trust." Love is like a rainbow with multiple hues.
Hello friends, this is V. Muralidharan, Assistant Professor of English from Sri Sankara Arts and Science College, Kanchipuram, Tamilnadu, India. I love creative writing as it is an outlet through reflection. And I find it a fine consolation as well. It is sometimes a comrade, and above all, a joyous commitment as every teacher should be a creative writer according to myself. Although they are not published commercially, they must make an effort to come out with whatever runs in their mind. Because I strongly believe a poem is merely an interaction between our conscious and unconscious region. I wholeheartedly thank the AIFEST for their opportunity given to me. Here I share my companion with you. Hope you too would get familiarized with my friend. Thus the poem begins here, entitled Shades of Love. Amiable acquaintance affects not heart. Intimate pulse often ignite or calm fire. Pick property as soul one, only to thought. Purity in soul as only property to tune your lyre. Untold love lives forever, proclaimed either sheds tear or sustains fear. Applause in one hand appeals not the climbed. Chance is a rare child, field to rear. Infatuation infects not our rising swing, yet sure affection alienated shatters every sense. Possessive skull stings the wound theme. Let strange brain be embraced in its very essence. Mother proves an ideal not before her death. Son sets his own utopia to live ever in dystopia. Fulfilled one fails not in duty and faith. Despaired fails not in vain pursuit and phobia. Mercy and grace seldom win the life's race. Hypocrisy and flattery often sustain sound health. Smile, salutation, gestures, and cry made of grace. Hatred, irritation, pressures, wry, born to win wealth. Be content to travel with your piety to unseen, but be not indifferent to the suffering seen. Love be the hymn everywhere, yet you are to perform. Let communion and symbiosis be our norm. Thank you so much for listening to my brainchild. I have brought to you something which came out of my light. As I told you before, poetry is nothing but an interaction between conscious and unconscious world. I can even say it is an effort to bring forth whatever there in our unconscious. No other earnest attempt can ever be made, for it is possible only through a creative writing. Thanks again.
Dear viewers, the title of my poem is Shades of Love. Blessed are those who know what it is to love and what it is to be loved. In the journey of life, love is experienced in many forms and expressed in many hues. Difficult to define, unique in feeling, relationships give love different shades and meanings. With relatives, colleagues and friends, I experienced conditional love which lasted till I could attend, pretend and spend. With mother, I discovered love is unconditional, for a mother's heart is never her own. Bits of it are sewn into her children's bone. Conditional love has conditions applied. Unconditional love lasts till the giver is in life. But love that is beyond time, conditions and being is the divine love that will stay forever with me. All may go and all may leave, but my Lord will never forsake me. Thank you.
So let's read out a poem on shades of love. Love is the most beautiful element found on the earth. Let's recite a few lines on shades of love. Love on earth has innumerable shades. Ever seen a rustic who a shallow river wades? Love now dances in the petals of a flower, then it sings on the twigs of the spring, trembles in the caring eyes of a mom, and sleeps quietly in the walls of a dome. Love is love and knows other emotions none, found in plenty in the lines of Keats and Donne. Thrilling art is love, as pure as raindrops, blooming of flowers in winter as one hopes. What cuckoo and nightingale sings is love, when nature whispers in the life's ears is love. True love is rare, but say, lived where? One should go to find in a club or a fair. Love is sweet as well may be so, don't judge rain by dust with it may pour. Love dwells on the pink lips of sweet love, may assure you in the pure snow of a dove. True love is really a most beautiful element of life, and let's recite more lines. Love is blue sky and love is earth brown, softer than a tear and stronger than a crown. Love is as wise as a father's strict counsel, and is same precious as a mother's. Love is butterfly sucking nectar from leaves. Love is simple sheep and stable as one sees. Love is when mind doesn't play a part. Pure heart is there, silent, without a word. Love means sighs rising from the deep. It is proven if one without reason weep. Love is beheld in the blue eyes of the beloved, seen in the quiet laugh of age said above. Love is immortal and never does it die. Will know if you love, don't ask why. Love is what a spouse seeks in you. Don't need a word, just look, watch and woo. Love is not but a sacrifice with reasons none. It is smooth nod when father deals with his son. Love with care isn't and can't be a true form. It's God's blessings which knows no norm. Love is truth. Love is life and giving for all. Love is duty, love is beauty and is life's call. Where a bee makes honey, love happens. It plays its part when peace comes but no weapons. Love is the beginning, love is the end. The rest are mere blue, dew, hair, heat and sand. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Khushbu. I'm pursuing my degree in psychology, journalism and English literature. I like to write poetry because I use it as a form of expression. I hope you like my poem. It is called Sorry Again. People to people, these mindsets vary. How much of sadness will this heart carry? Let me be the one and say you sorry, 'cause nothing's the same as it was before. Life has changed on a complete whole, and I'm standing here all alone. I wish you were by my side, but we are a million miles aside, not through distance, but as the feelings flow. You never came back, but still remember, I know. You and I being us with that glow, you know. What else do you want more every day? My inside hears me roar. Sorry again, 'cause my words would be sore. But they are true, I could have sworn. The shadow itself has covered me all. This mystery of finding us will never be solved, 'cause someone made people involved, or else things would have been resolved. Darkness or light, I was still okay with our fight. At least we share or complain, and we had some fear of losing each other, right? Well, I saw my future with you so bright that I tried with all my might but couldn't bring you back to our hive. Sorry to bother you now, but I'm still half alive. Waiting for the time to pass by and your byes turning into high. I'm so low that I'm really high. Sober so far, I need myself to face me, but I sigh. Being always together in our den, sorry now, nothing can be meant. You are in my heart and you'll always be there. Let things change or shatter here and there. Now no one's gonna speak, 'cause you don't care. We would have never been apart, but you. We were always for each other, but you always wanted a different path without me, without us. And yet again, you chose it here too. I still remember everything, just like our small fights over those chocolate moves. But all you had to say was, I'm done with it. I don't understand how you moved on so fast, like there was nothing between us in our past. 'Cause I'm still standing here where you left me alone and moved on. My heart cannot forget its other half, 'cause those memories are forever with me and only you moved on. I give you all my happiness 'cause you were all I had, and take all your pain. Maybe by this way, there's something or some part of you that I will still regain. I'm trying to stay alone in my pain, but your memories won't leave me again. Oh, I'm sorry again. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Madhavi Menon. I belong to Kerala, God's own country. I work and live in Calicut, the city of Samurans, and Calicut has been the backdrop of all my milestones in my life: birth, marriage, work, and everything. And I started writing poetry as a pastime during my UG days, which is now spanned over the years, and I have written about 100 poems for the last 36 years or so. And recently I got a book of poetry published. I took a book published, it's called Gatherings, which is available on Amazon. I currently work as an assistant professor at the Department of English, Holy Cross Institute of Management and Technology. I actually got married soon after my undergraduation, and then after almost a decade I dared to go back to college and complete my post-graduation in English. Teaching has been always my passion, and poetry has always been my first love in my life. And in spite of my busy schedule, I still find time to weave magic with words. I should say that there are a lot of people who have helped me, encouraged me, and motivated me to write write, and one among them is one of my closest friends. I should say that she is more than a friend to me. She's the first one to read whatever I write and give me honest comments. And she's the one who actually kindled the spark in me to publish my works. And recently I published a book of poetry, which is called Gatherings, that is available on Amazon right now. This is the poem that has been selected by the AIFEST poetry contest. I shall recite it for you. It's called Shades of Love. It's all about unrequited love. I hardly speak of you. I would never admit how I feel about you. A beautiful sensation thrills my senses. Thought it was the words I fell in love with, not the writer. The incessant conversation, the simple things you do, the compliments you pass, find myself in a comfort zone and bring a smile, another version of me. Thoughts slip out of my grasp, all explicit. I know you don't reciprocate my feelings. I open my eyes to find you were never there at all. Thank you so much, AI Fest, and thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you again.
I am Sirisha from the Department of English, Andhra University, Vizag, Andhra Pradesh. There is always a kind of magic in the word poetry that can bring pleasure to our heart. Theme for today is Shades of Love, and the title of my poem is The Broken Heart. Oh, my stupid heart, stop craving for love. You cannot weigh its depth at any cost. You'd rather console the broken heart who had experienced the whole of love. Come, go through the lane of memories. Began with million hopes towards love, ending with billion pieces of broken heart dying every second inside those teeny pieces. Then, when on clouds nine, flourished with belief. Now, when painted with autumn grayness, fainted with fear of holding faith in any color, being lost in the darkness of detrimental love. Doubt not, you never meet certainty, because love itself is uncertain, my dear. Yes, it's the most baleful one ever. It has many shades within. It has many shades within. There are many shades of love, which a human being in his entire life cannot experience. Those many shades are there in the word called love. It's not just a word, but the meaning of life for somebody and the destruction of life for some other. There are many people who feel that it's a blessing. At the same time, there are many people who feel that it's the most terrible one in their lives. This love can make a heart smile with happiness and can break the heart, the same heart as well. It has many shades. It has many shades. We cannot weigh its depth. We cannot go through that. We cannot go through that. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for this.
Wishing all a great day. Myself, Megha S.J. Kumar. I am presently residing at Pathanamthitta, Kerala. I am a postgraduate student of English at NSS College, Pandalam, Pathanamthitta. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to God Almighty, my mother, and my teachers for their constant support and encouragement. Now, moving on to my poem titled Time Turner. And the poem goes like this. Questioning the deep-rooted fantasies, understanding the spirit of transcendence, mirroring those crackled voices, muddle through silence of mortals. The chime of bells that struck, the cloak of destiny, twisted turns of fate, shadowing the roaring silence, breaking bones of proximity. The birth of a spiked beast with wings of destruction, spreading its hellish breath, choked humans with deadened silence for eternal sleep. Remember a glorified past with the rhythm of love and beats of life that presently lay crushed like a dilapidated drum. Refreshing past like the rainbow in the sky, After thunder, lightning, and rain, renewed the soul of life, like a newborn baby that lies in the lap of Mother Earth. In the final chant of Goddess Moirai, the hands that tuned, the twisted time turner, brings an invincible ray of hope to the mankind, unraveling the mystery of future. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to AIFEST team and coordinators. Thanks a lot.
Hello everyone. First of all, a big thanks to the AIFEST for giving me an A grade and thank you for holding the competition. So let me introduce myself. I am Miss Maria Dolan Lancelot, a student of Islip College, studying in my final year of Bachelor's of Arts. So here goes my poem, The Pandemic, Ballad of Corona Pandemic. I heard about the pandemic by my pals at college. They were all terrified of death. Later came the knowledge. Came to know how it kills you and how it's here to stay. A cure or vaccine to find, sure, 'twill be a long, long way. Then came the severe lockdown. The world was all at home. Stay there till the virus is gone. Live your life at home alone. At first, it was all jolly fun, but turns out we got bored. Getting disconnected from others, passed the time playing on board. Weeks went by, so did the weekends, but the danger outside kept on increasing day by day. We all just stayed inside. Months, and now it's almost a year gone away from the start. It is now a new normal life of living miles apart. One thing I have noticed is that people are growing true in their beliefs about their faith. Faith in God has renewed. God is forever my one hope. I have Him forever. He has promised me a lifetime. Pandemic scares me never. Thank you.
It's the pandemic. Everything has been shut down. Life, death, pulse, everything. They made the policies, they remade the laws. Yes, the government has been doing its best to keep everyone out of the virus's claws. Alas, not everyone could be saved. Alas, not everything could be protected. The battle is still on. Death is at its full arrogance. Jobs aren't serving the people anymore. Stepping outside is strictly prohibited. The rich are sitting apprehensive inside their abodes. The poor are dying outside on the roads, engulfed by the atrocities of the virus. The virus, the monarch incarnate, who only executes the people. The virus is ruling the world. Long before the pandemic, long before the rule of the virus, nature guarded us all. We stepped outside to work, to breathe, to meet, to enjoy. Early morning to late evening, sunrise and sunset governed our lives. Those were the days of normalcy. Now the new normal has arrived. The new normal where everything is about being distant, conversing from the balconies, appreciating each other through couriers. The new normal where you have to be good at digitization. The new normal where psychological depression prevails, where you need to become a mimosa leaf, one touch and you ought to close yourself. The new normal where breathing is enough. Yes, you are breathing and that's enough. The cold, the cough, the fever, the chills are no more to be ignored. These are serious clarion calls to be checked and tested. The antidote isn't out. The chaos outside can be seen clearly. But what about the disorder inside? The fear, the loss, the lament, the apprehensions, the risks, the distance between the loved ones, the poverty, the helplessness, the failures. So many questions, no definite answers. The answer lies in accepting the reality, accepting the impermanence of life, accepting that every moment of the life is precious and is in utter danger. The answer lies in not being in denial, denial in the form of complacency, denial in the constant irrational hope that everything will be fine. Everything can be fine only if we work for it. Every moment is to be lived at its best because we are unaware of the next. Strength is the answer. Awareness is the solution, and being careful is the savior. Thank you.
Hello, greetings to all. I am Sharmila Jajodia from Ramniranjan Jhunjhunwala Autonomous College, Ghatkopar West, located in Mumbai, Maharashtra. I have participated in AIFEST Poetry Competition 2020 under the category For Everyone Else. The title of my poem is Technology, Art and Love. This poem is dedicated to all true lovers and lovers of art and poetry. Love is life in the age of technology. Love is life in the age and page of art. Love is life in the mind of lovers, whichever age they belong to. Love is ageless, timeless, and spaceless. It flourishes in the mind of lovers, imagination of lovers, with the help of technology and art, whichever age they belong to. Love knows no barriers of caste, class, creed, religion, and nation. It knows only one language, that is humanism, whichever age they belong to. Technology has made love easier and simpler. Lovers can connect to each other hassle free anytime from anywhere. Art too plays a prominent role, as pure love is always artistic, simplistic, and non abusive. No technology, no art is misused, whichever age they belong to. Only feelings are used to express feelings of love through technology and art, and love is made for love's sake. No selfish motives are ingrained. They live love, love lovely feelings because they love each other, whichever age they belong to. They don't dupe each other before or after union. They don't meet each other for lust and hunger. They don't teach each other for materialistic gains, whichever age they belong to. They don't splash acid on each other to force love on each other. They don't try to test love by making illogical demands which make the other permanently handicapped, whichever age they belong to. True love gives the other equal space. It doesn't expect the other to be a slave. It treats the other as a human being full of emotions, not a commodity to consume, whichever age they belong to. True love doesn't suspect the other. It is not a relation for convenience and compromise. It is a bond of understanding, whichever age they belong to. Love is blind, half blind, true false, or pure impure, a temporary contract or a permanent relation is not defined by social or cultural norms but by the intentions of the lovers, whichever age they belong to. Love doesn't tweet love, love doesn't post WhatsApp chats, love doesn't get viral on social networking sites, love doesn't share photographs on Facebook. It just realizes itself in the inner room of the two selves. Thank you very much.